Hello Sip Squad! With the release of the Dendro arc on Nahida, Dendro teams have become more meta than ever before. She's a strong and extremely valuable Dendro support and is definitely worth pulling for if you're able to get her. Today we're going to be breaking down her kit, starting with her normal attacks. During Nahida's normal attack Akara, she performs a series of 4 normal attacks dealing Dendro damage to enemies. Her charge attack consumes stamina and casts an AoE Dendro damage. Her elemental skill, All Schemes to Know, affects enemies with Dendro damage and leaves a Seed of Skandha mark, which affects opponents with Dendro damage after using elemental reactions. After enemies are affected with elemental reactions or Dendro damage, Nahida will trigger Tri-Karma Purification on all opponents marked dealing Dendro damage, scaling off of her attack and elemental mastery. Tapping the skill does a sweep motion with limited range, while holding the skill allows you to enter aim mode and manually mark opponents. Her resistance to interruption during this state is increased. Her elemental burst Illusory Heart summons the Shrine of Maya and is fully used as a support field for elemental reactions. There are 3 key elements that can affect the Shrine of Maya: Pyro, Electro, and Hydra. When you have a Pyro member in the team, the damage dealt by Tri-Karma Purification is increased. An Electro party member, the interval between Tri-Karma Purification is decreased. When having a Hydra party member, the Shrine of Maya duration time is increased. If you have 2 of the same element of one of these elements that are listed, the effects will be increased even further. If you do not have Nahida on the field, these effects will stay the same. For example, if you run Nahida on a Bloom team with at least 2 Hydra units, Nahida's burst at level 9 will last an additional 8.5 seconds due to having 2 Hydra characters on the team. For talent priorities, you should prioritize her skill first, as it is her main source of off-field damage due to its scaling with both her attack and EM. Next in priority is her elemental burst for the increased element type buffs. Last in priority is her normal attacks, and while they aren't necessarily bad per se, in comparison to her other talents, it is not as important to level it. Now let's go over her passive talents, starting with her Ascension 1 passive, Compassion Illuminated. After using Nahida's burst, Illusory Heart, and having unleashed the Shrine of Maya, the following bonus will be given. The EM of the character on field will be increased by 25% off of the party member with the highest EM, the max being 250. Her Ascension 4 passive, Awakening Elucidated, will give Nahida a 0.1% bonus damage and 0.03 crit rate for Tri-Karma Purification for each point of EM that is beyond 200. The maximum bonus damage and crit rate achieved through this method is 80% bonus damage and 24% crit rate. This means that the amount of EM Nahida needs to max out this passive is 800. Finally, her passive on All Things Meditated grants you the ability to gather and harvest items with Nahida's Tap and Hold skill. Additionally, you can read people's minds when holding her skill on them. Do note, however, that her mind read ability only works on Sumeru NPCs and will not work in other regions. Nahida has some really solid constellations that boost her damage capabilities. Let's start with her Constellation 1, the Seed of Stored Knowledge. When her burst is unleashed, you'll get each Pyro, Electro, and Hydra buffed effect on top of your current party composition. This essentially means that you can have the element type buffs without needing a Pyro, Electro, or Hydra unit on your team. For her C2, the Root of All Fullness, opponents that are marked by Seeds of Skandha applied by her elemental skill will be affected by 2 effects. The first effect is that burning and all bloom based reaction damage can crit. The crit rate and crit damage are fixed at 20% and 100% respectively. The second effect is that within 8 seconds of being affected by Quicken, Aggravate, or Spread, defense is decreased by 30%. Her Constellation 3 increases her skill level by 3. Nahida C4, the Stem of Manifest Inference, increases her EM by 100, 120, 140, and 160 when 1, 2, 3, and 4 or more opponents respectively are affected by the Seeds of Skandha from her skill. Her C5 increases her burst level by 3. And lastly, her C6, the Fruit of Reason's Culmination, she will use Tri-Karma Purification Karmic Oblivion on connected opponents, dealing Dendro damage based on 200% of her attack and 400% of her EM. Tri-Karma Purification Karmic Oblivion is triggered when Nahida hits opponents that are affected by her skill's Seeds of Skandha with normal or charge attacks after using her burst. Damage dealt by Tri-Karma Purification Karmic Oblivion is considered elemental skill damage and can be triggered once every 0.2 seconds. This effect can last up to 10 seconds and is removed once 6 instances of Tri-Karma Purification Karmic Oblivion are unleashed by Nahida. Overall, her C2 is by far her best constellation, as it allows Bloom cores to crit, as well as enabling Aggravate and Spread teams to do even more damage. C4 and C6 are also good constellations, as the prior gives Nahida extra EM, while the latter allows her to be an effective on-field main DPS. For artifacts, her main sets are either 4-piece Deepwood Memories or 4-piece Gilded Dreams. 4-piece Deepwood Memories performs best if Nahida is the only Dendro character on the team, while 4-piece Gilded Dreams works best if someone else is using Deepwood Memories in the party. It also helps Nahida reach her EM requirements easier since the 2-piece of the set already gives her 80 EM. For stats, you can run full EM or ER Sands, EM Goblet, and EM Crit Rate or Crit Damage Circlet. Subsets to prioritize from most to least important are EM, Crit Damage or Crit Rate, ER, and Attack Percent. For weapons, some of her best options include her signature weapon, 1000 Floating Dreams, Kagura's Verity, Sacrificial Fragments, and the Wood Sith. Her signature and Sacrificial benefit her the most since they both give her EM through their substats. Sacrificial also gives her the opportunity to cast her elemental skill twice, though this works better at higher refinements. The Wood Sith is an awesome choice if you decide to use on-field DPS Nahida or in a quick swap team with her. The downside is that you aren't guaranteed to get the EM part of the passive, which would be the best for her. While Kagura's Verity is a very strong DPS weapon for her, in most situations her other weapon choices are simply better as they have more to offer. If you don't have any of these weapons, the Wandering Evenstar or Fruit of Fulfillment can work decently well, as well as the 3-star Magic Guide. Nahida will primarily function as a sub DPS in most of her teams. Some of the teams we recommend include Bloom with Nilou, Dendro Traveler, and Kokomi or Barbara, Aggravate with Cyno, Kazuha, and Kuki Shinobu, and Hyper Bloom with Fischl, Sucrose, and Zinchou.
Nowhere to run! Fallen leaves, adorn my night, windstrike!
This way! Grow!
Surrender! Judgment is upon you! Stay condemned! Their penance is due! Stay condemned!
Hey! Make yourselves a room! Out of my way! Our bond is strong!
Into the wind! Clouds high, the birds call, the wind knows me. Nowhere to run! Through me, justice is served! Guilty! Stay condemned!
Alright, and that concludes this kit breakdown. If you did enjoy this video, then be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the Sip Squad channel. Also, be sure to join the Sip Squad Discord as we also have build sheets, guides, and people to help you out with your builds and other character needs. Thank you for watching!